Hey everyone, how are you doing tonight? So this is going to be called Army Stories Volume 2. And my dog keeps opening the door behind me. Not that door. That door. That door. Anyway, besides the point. Let's tell an Army story. Let's go back to 2010 when I was on my Leopard tank course. It was glorious. They'd leave these things outside in the sun all day long. In the afternoon, we'd bring them into the shop and work on them. So we're working in an oven. But the story I want to tell you from that course is we had an instructor. Now he's dead, so I'm going to use his name. Maybe I shouldn't. I do have some respect for the dead. He did take his own life. And this story actually had parts to do with that. Weapons technician on my tank course in CFB board in 2010. This instructor was a creeper. He used to talk in Klingon, and he'd whisper at people. And if there's a woman in the course, he would like lean on their desk and put his junk on their desks. Very weird guy. And as a weapons tech, former weapons tech, we're all a little on the weird side. I mean, we fix things that kill people. Our sense of humor is kind of dark and kind of not for the general public. So let's get into the story. This girl's down from Petawawa on this tank course. Borden's about 3 hours away, depending on how you drive. And this girl is doing her dishes one night on the weekend when she gets home from the tank course. And notice the instructor's car is parked in front of her house. The problem is she can see what he's doing in the car. He had a very distinct car. It was a PT Cruiser. And he was satisfying himself while staring in her windows. She called the MPs and they came by, and sure enough, they caught him. And it wasn't long after that he was taken off our course. And then, since he was a reservist, it was a Reg Force course, but he was a reserve instructor. I know it makes sense to some people, but it is what it is. They're going to cancel his contract. Well, he got wind of this and offed himself with a gun, shot himself in the chest. I imagine his last words are something in Klingon. Yeah. Weird Army story number 1. I got posted to a base. I'm not going to say where. But my friend's wife is an officer, a young officer. And her boss at the time was a senior person, kept posting like little heart emojis and kissy faces on her photos on Instagram and Facebook and things of that nature. And my friend reached out to me because my friend is a civilian now, still serving at the time. And he's like, can you bring this up to somebody? Because this is really bothering me a great deal. So I went to my major, Mark. Terrible names. Anyway, Mark was his name. And Henneberry? Mark Henneberry, Major Mark Henneberry, 14 MSS. I went to him, and he told me that, nope, that's okay. That's normal. And I auto-recorded this because I auto-record everything because I don't trust anybody. I have some severe trust issues. I auto-recorded this, and I was told that's okay. It's okay for a senior person in the military to put little heart emojis and kissy face emojis on young ladies' social media posts. Now, in the military, we had a duty to report, and I am not a fan of that sort of things. Recently, I found out the same person that did that to her was the same person who sexually assaulted me. I know what you're thinking. I'm a man. I can't be, but I was. Allegedly, he recently put his hands on his stepdaughter and was arrested. That's a good thing. That's Army story number 2. Would you like a third story? I drink a lot of this bubbly water. I don't know why. I just seem to enjoy it. Everyone thinks I drink a lot. I do. Bubbly water. Usually not this brand, though. Do you want another story? I'll tell you another story. I was in CFB Gagetown, probably 2015, 2016. I'm on firing point 4, if you know where that is. I was a weapons tech on a live range. I spent a lot of time on live ranges, 25 millimeter cannon, C6s. I was a busy guy, and I'd always bring an OJT with me. That's an on-the-job training person. And I have a little truck called an LSVW. It was my mobile workshop. It was called an MRT. And him and I are sitting in a truck, and there's some commotion behind us off to our right. We're in the firing point. So and at this point, there's nothing really going on. It's lunchtime. Everyone's having a bite to eat. And I look over, and there's a little baby bear. He's probably this tall. He's just a little fella, but he's on his hind legs looking into the garbage dumpster. And it turned out Mama Bear was in the dumpster. If you've ever dealt with wild animals, you know not to mess with the young. And but this dude, armored school guy, tried to go over and pet the baby bear. He got within 10 feet of this baby bear, and the little baby bear started squawking. And this mother bear, a black bear, probably 400 pounds, maybe. That's on the bigger side. I've seen them bigger, but in Gagetown, 400 pounds is a big bear. She came leaping out of this dumpster, and it's an industrial dumpster. And needless to say, the guy who was trying to pet the baby bear ran for everything he was worth, try to get away from the bear. And he did, because Mama Bear wasn't interested in chasing him. She was interested in the safety of her little one. Anyway, so I'm going to call this Army Stories Volume 2. Every now and then when I think of something funny or ridiculous or something I think the public should know, and I have lots of stories, I'll talk about it, and I'll bring it up. Anybody have any comments, questions? Feel free to leave them in the comments. If not, you have a great night. Take it easy.